Hi, this is Lynn with Educating with Wisdom, and today I'm doing something that's uncomfortable, and it would be uncomfortable for most people. We work in a very concrete world. Even our abstractions aren't spiritually abstract. We're not expecting to see real miracles. We're not expecting to see real aspects of God in our lives, and yet that's precisely what I'm bringing forward. So today I'm talking about Lynn, Guadalupe, the goddesses who protect creation and life, the wild animals, St. Paul, and Nostradamus. So we're looking at the Bible. We're looking at Nostradamus. Now, I'm going to predicate this by saying, one, I'm always uncomfortable holding myself up. And this is something that a lot of women are uncomfortable doing, but also something that a lot of men are uncomfortable doing. Okay, it doesn't sound good. I never wanted to go into politics. I never wanted to be a lawyer. The only thing I was ever interested in was music, being a doctor, and theology. And that was it. Music, dance, being a doctor, and theology. And I loved the outside. But that was it. So I wasn't interested in politics. I wasn't interested in being a lawyer. None of these things, it wasn't me. And yet I feel, and I wasn't interested in being a priest. But I've been thrust into this, and I've been thrust into it because I was called to go into it in order to fight for righteous sake, in order to stand up for those things that God told me I must stand up for. Now, like everybody else, when I got called and I saw it there, I said to myself, and God is saying, now you need to do something about it. And my morality and everything I believed in or was brought up with was appalled by what was going on. And I was like, well, there's got to be somebody else. I know if I talk to this person about it, they'll get it and they'll do something. Oh, I know if I talk to that person about it, they'll get it and they'll do something about it. I know, if I talk. And I would say, would you, God, come on, who am I? Would you please get somebody else? And God would say, like who? And so I'm living in a world where I am definitely seeing, well, we all know the emperor in the new clothes and his new clothes. And we all know the story of Pinocchio and the boys in the land, where the jackasses are. And I'm seeing clergy, politicians, and academics that are on Satan's side. I'm looking at my own faith, and I've had to come to terms with the fact that so much of the Bible is a constructed lie. And yet, in it, I can find God. And in order to find God, I have to release the constructed lie. Now, my deep faith in God is not just because I can find it there. My deep faith in God is also because I have been witness to and part of miracle after miracle. And some of these are huge. So when we construct a religion, we have to have the foundation, the genesis, but we also have to have the miracles to support us so that there's reason to have faith. That's something about the age of Pisces, having faith. What I'm able to do is take out false paradigms that were deliberately put in there in order to feed or fit into whatever needed to happen. But I'm also able to give you the miracles, show you the miracles, and let you know that I have some clout. Now, this is hard to say because I was always voted into areas of leadership when I was growing up, and I didn't even ask for it. My teachers put me into areas of leadership. To give you some idea of the exceptionality, junior high, I was only there for 18 months. I only lived in this place for 18 months. And all of my teachers, because I was gifted and my levels were so high, kept pushing me into leadership positions, even over adults. It was amazing. I did, and they had me running around doing everything and over fellow students. Things like I had to teach ballet to the gym class, and I would say, "Oh, I know this other girl. She can also do ballet. Why don't you get her?" And my teachers would say, "No, you do it." They would say, "Okay, you're gonna be the team leader and play off of these two adult PE teachers in charge of my team, and you're going to be the team leader, and you're going to play off of us." And I'm like, "Well, why don't you get somebody else?" And they, no, you're going to do it. And I know why they had me do it. When I went to move, and when I moved from this place after 18 months, people asked me to run for president because we were going into high school. And they were having school elections. And I said, I can't because I'm moving. And when the elections occurred, this was 6 weeks later, so it was about a month later, I found out I was vice president, which means I got second layers, second as many votes. When I asked them how that happened, because I didn't run, the person in charge of elections said, your teachers put your name on the ballot and the students ran, and then the students voted for you. Maybe that's one of the reasons why I have such a problem, because I'm coming up against such immoral, weak-minded leaders. It's not a job that I wanted. So let's go in and see where God has called me. Because before it was my teachers, now it's God. My birthday is December the 12th, 1958. I didn't even know about Guadalupe until 2009 when I also became a Catholic. So I'm an Episcopalian and a Catholic. And because St. Paul came to save me from a very bad marriage many years ago, I've had a hard time leaving St. Paul's because he is my benefactor in so many ways. But I heard from my church that we were going into this year of Phantom, and I didn't know what Phantom was really about. This was in October of 2016. So I went into the Phantom. Let me cross out of this, and you can see when I took the picture again. So I went in on this date in 2016 just to see what Phantom was about. There we go, Monday, October 17th, 2016, and all of a sudden, I'm being pulled up with the day that pertains to Guadalupe. And when I called the agency, because I have this on my phone that I called them, when I called the agency, they couldn't explain any of this. So this is the picture. And you can see that I took it on October the 17th, 2016. And yet it's dated to here. And you're going to see in the videos that when I click on this all changes to October the 12th, 2016. So not only is this my birth date, now October the 12th pertains to, I guess, the consecration of the Basilica in Mexico City, as well as the consecration, I believe it is Guadalupe in Spain. There were several times, and then there was another time, and I don't think it's the same date, but it is around then that all of North America, she's put over all of North America. So I represent the Guadalupe, and that Guadalupe, the one that's in Spain, ties back to Artemis of Ephesus, who was the original savior. And later, the church augments her to become the Virgin Mary. In fact, the Christian church was failing because it didn't have a female center, and it wasn't going to survive. So they went into Ephesus and took it over because Artemis of Ephesus, even though the city itself was not doing well at that time because it was filling in due to silk in the river, she was still a very important goddess. In fact, she was the saving goddess. She was the protector. And she signified the center of the galaxy with the zodiac going around her neck, which was the constellations. And then she had the Milky Way going around her center, and all of creation came out of it. And the Christian church did something very wicked. It went in, and instead of saying God is also female and saying, Yahweh is really feminine and all of these things, and the Adam and Eve story is not this ugly thing that is really pseudo-Aristotle. We're really looking at Aristotle's interpretation of women so many times with St. Paul. It's not St. Paul, it's Aristotle. So I'm just showing you this. This is all goes back to the Guadalupe in the United States, goes back to the Guadalupe in Spain, which is supposedly brought by St. Luke, which isn't. And that actually goes back to Artemis of Ephesus. So let's go in and take a look at the videos. This is a miracle. They did not do this. All right. Let's come in and take a look at this. Nobody there could give me an answer. Let's see when this was done. Properties. Also October the 17th. We're going to quickly go into this. And I'm a little sarcastic here because I know all this sun dancing and everything. I know that she has basically no power. I know that when you talk about the center of the constellation, the sun is nothing. The sun and Leo and all those other constellations dance around the center of the galaxy, and Sagittarius is up by the center of the galaxy. So is Scorpio. But the center of the galaxy is actually at 29 degrees Sagittarius. Here we go. And that's where we have the black hole, which has all of these radio waves that send out directions. Sagittarius is more than masculine. It is androgynous feminine. Sagittarius is said to rule the ovaries. It is the only moist fire sign. Yeah, it gets really interesting. They don't like to talk about that one. So let's go in and open that up. Here we go. Bishop of Phantoma, December 12th, 2016. When did he actually write it? Let's go down to, they actually wrote it. On October the 12th, 2016. All of these are related to Guadalupe. All right, let's close out of this. Let's take a look at the larger one. Just want to make sure this is playing. I know what I have to do on this day, but it's interesting. Okay. Phantoma on demand. That's because she doesn't have the answers. She's not giving out the answers. They're just giving out Hail Marys. And anyway, Bishop Conley versus Bishop Conley. And it says that it's written on this day, Christopher A. Vieira, December 12th, 2000. And then when you click on it, by the way, G4S wouldn't let me open it up on my computer because as soon as I saw this on my cell phone, they didn't want me to get a picture of it. Only after I made another picture. Elsewhere would they let me open this up on my computer. See, now it's October the 12th. Okay, let's pause it here. Let's put you on pause. Let me make sure this is running. It is. Okay, in 2010, a friend of my family said, you really need to post your husband. Something needs to happen because he's not paying his child support. Your daughter is ill. He was a friend of my brother's, and when he got his divorce, he bought a house down the street for his wife, his former wife, so that they could look after the child together. And he said, there's something terribly wrong with what Udo's doing. And I had gone online and I could see where other states posted men who were in arrears online. Florida protects men in a lot of ways. But anyway, So eventually I came to the Academy of Management, and I came to the Academy of Management after I'd posted Udo's arrears online. And before I did that, as I opened it up, I said a prayer in this statement. And I prayed to God that Udo would step up to the bat and not just help out financially, but would contact his children and help heal his relationship with his children. And then I quoted Jesus in Luke, and I said, if there is a problem that you're having with somebody in the church, first go to them privately, which we had all done. The state had done it. Everyone had already done it. Then, I had done it. Then bring a witness, and the state and everyone had done it. And then take it to the church. And if that doesn't work, then they need to be shunned. So you're looking at 2010 here. So what I said is, Udo looks like a gem on the internet. He was an academic, he was a professor, he looked wonderful, he looked great, and he was a criminal. And nobody was holding him accountable. He was hiding out in Christchurch, New Zealand. Christchurch New Zealand harbored American men in arrears, professional American men in arrears. It was a beautiful spot. They wouldn't do anything about Udo. There was no reciprocity agreement, so Udo could just get away with this. This is when I first contacted Mr. Youngblood, and believe it or not, the Academy of Management followed through with St. Luke's recommendation. All of a sudden, that statement, which was on page 10 of Udo's online, went up to page 1, and it was either number 1 to number 3 on every search engine. And that was a God Academy of Management thing. They realized they were wrong. I will tell you, the Academy of Management, I think, has more morality than many churches, because I have not yet met a church that's willing to do this. Let's take a look at when I contacted Professor Youngblood came back to me, and he said, I want you to contact your husband. I want you to tell him no that you've contacted us and what's happened here. So this happened you're going to see it happened here. I said, Udo will always close out of this. He's never even going to open it. He said, you're going to CC it to me so that he knows it happens. I'm just going to open this up so that you know this happens. Because right after that, God backed me up. Now, it was Aquarian 4 earthquakes. They were 4 events. At first, I didn't know it was a 3 event. I knew it was either a 3 event or a 4 event, which meant it was either a Jupiter event, which is what I was, or it was going to be a 4 event. I thought it was going to be a 3 event because I contacted him on the 30th. All right. But that was the 31st there. They had their earthquake on the 4th for them. So if I contacted them late on the 30th, that then gives us the 31st, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a 3-4 event. Let's go in and take a look at it. Here we go. Now let's go through and look at the series of earthquakes so that you understand that you got hit, and you got hit deliberately. And God is hitting at the church, but not only that, it was support. All right, let's close out. Well, I'll minimize this for a moment. Let's make sure you're still running, and you are. All right. Let's go into the pre-war. But here we have September the 4th. That's when the earthquake first hit them. In numerology, when these numbers add up to 4, they're 4 events, which are Uranus events. All right? So we had 4 quarters, 16 months with 4. And even though this is the 23rd, it happens at the beginning of Capricorn, the first real day of Capricorn, which is also a 4 event, right after right after Sagittarius would have been protecting the church. So it is a 4 in part of the world, and it's the first day of Capricorn, which also carries a 4. So in 4 quarters, 4 months, 4-month quarters, 4-month quarters, we have 4 events going on. Also, let me go back up here. World War II. All of the major leaders in Europe, not including the United States, but all of the major leaders that were allies in Europe, Franco, Winston Churchill, George VI, Joseph Stalin, and for Canada, William Mackenzie, because he really worked with the British, and for Australia, Gordon Menzies. These are all Sagittarians. Now, it's statistically impossible that this is a random event. This is all real. For the United States, our 2 presidents during the most difficult period were Aquarian 3s, that is Abraham Lincoln, which is the 12th of February, as well as FDR, which is the 30th of February. These are not accidents, folks. These are God things. But this is absolutely miraculous. And if you think of Stalin, you don't think of a good person. Not all these people were good people. Even Winston Churchill had areas that were not good, and yet this is a miracle. And when I saw that the Russians, that their coat of arms was St. George, which falls to Sagittarius, and that they took it on November the 30th, 1993, I knew that the Russians were not the problem here. And when I saw that the British had the Red Dragon in Wales, and that the Queen had brought it in the late 1950s, I knew that I was looking at the Red Dragon that was found in Revelations, as well as the Red Dragon that is found in Nostradamus. And he's prophesizing it because he timestamps it with what's going on. These are all miracles, folks. These are not coincidences. Those earthquakes are not coincidences. This is backup. So let me put this on pause. When I first saw this with Nostradamus, I'm going to take you up here and just show you the 5 eyes. I only found out about the 5 eyes right before I contacted the Russians last July and let them know that I knew they were innocent about what was being lobbed against them. The 5 eyes, because this is what's come up against me. Despite the impact of Snowden's disclosures, all right, they're used to circumvent around domestic regulations. And they spy on each other as well as other people. Here we go. Who's in the 5 eyes? The United States, the UK, New Zealand, Canada. And it's horrible. And what they can do is horrible. So we're going to have a part 2 for this. I'm just going to show you part 1 today. Here we go. This is what I came up against. So Nostradamus lets us know, and I can show you the timestamps that are there. During the month of July, this is for July. I should say this is for Cancer. The 5 eyes are above here. The 3, notice they're black. They're working under the evil black stars of Solomon. There's the 6. That is the ring of David, David's ring. Or it's actually from Solomon. He was a terrible occultist. During the month of July, here we have our dragon is going up. It has 5 stars. I thought this was for the 9th house. I thought it was the dragon going up against me. Well, guess what, guys? I found out in December of 2016 when I found out about the Russians and when I found out about the Red Dragon. That's when I found about Elon Musk and the dragon, which is what his part of his spaceship is called. Well, I should say that he has the Falcon with the dragon. He has the dragon. And then he has the Merlin. He has 9 Merlin thrusters in the back. They were engines, just like the Merlin stars that are found in Draco, the 9 stars. And just like the Merlin that is found for the Space Observatory in England. So in July, And the five eyes are working even above the levels of communication. So here are the satellites for communication. It lets you know where his dragon went up in flames. This is actually not July, this is actually Cancer. So excuse me, forgive me. It isn't July, it's Cancer. So it's the Apollo for the five eyes, but it's also for Solomon. We've got the black six stars, the six-edged stars. We have the dragon. I thought this was Uncle Sam, old Sam, John Zuli. We have Elon Musk, who is from he is Canadian, but he's originally from South Africa. And of course, he's a British spy. He's been working with the United States. So, what's so interesting that happens here? On Elon Musk's birthday, which is the 28th of June, he's a Cancer, his falcon went up in flames. And it went up in flames under the satellites. Okay. And the satellites and the spies were sitting on top of that. The 28th is a 10-day, which is an Apollo day. It was with Uncle Sam and Old Sam. Raytheon, the ray of God in Revelations 9. The United States. This is where I get into trouble because I pick it up and I go to the military. I told them they couldn't use it. This was even in 2009. Raytheon, the ray of God, and then the United States produced the weapons. There we go. It's found right in here. And Raytheon refers back not to the ray of God, but it's actually in Greek the ray of the God. And the ray of the God goes back to Apollo. And Apollo is not a good god. Apollo, through the Hurrians, is actually means the destroyer. And that's all he means. It's not good. He's not good at all. And he's really wicked, okay? He brings pestilence and awfulness and war. That's who Apollo is. And it talks about how they have tails like scorpions. We're really looking at helicopters. And I told them these are helicopters. This all went to the Law Society in 2001. But when I found out about the in 2008 and 2009 and what they were doing, I went back. So let's take a look and see what they were doing. So they went in and they produced this weapon. And it's called the Sheriff Program, and it causes a stinging sensation all over people's bodies. What originally brought me in, these are more miracles. Jupiter and Leo. You're going to see I found a pattern of war, and I found the pattern of war when I was looking for when was the best time to begin the Union of North America. And God told me to think about when there were good times, when there was a lot of good international work. I wasn't thinking about D-Day. I thought about the Camp David Accord. And then I thought about the German unification. And God said, go and look at it. And that's when I found out. Now you're going to see Jupiter and Leo. When I went in and saw that, the Camp David Accord was when Jupiter was in Leo here. All right? Jupiter goes into Leo here. Here's Jupiter and Leo. So the Camp David Accord happened here, not here where it's split and then it splits again. Okay? Here, I mean, we're looking at the Camp David Accord. And then here it is again. But as soon as I saw that, the Germans, and I was in Germany at that time with my former husband and my family for that year, only when Jupiter was in Leo. And what happened is that I realized there was also war going on at that time, and there was an expanded pattern in the Middle East. So even though there was this going on, there was also the Iranian hostage crisis. And even though there was this going on, we had the war that went on in the Middle East. And that happened in Jupiter and Leo. So I have my case out to the Law Society, and I'm bringing my Leo lawyer up and my former Leo lawyer when I said, oh my goodness, there's going to be another war in 2001 and 2002, 2003, when Jupiter was in Leo. And sure enough, it went in there. 2002, 2003, it went right in. There we go. Jupiter was in Leo. And then, although I had warned the military, although I went in and warned people about it, and I know my work was used, it happened again in 2014 and 2015. And I have other works online that show you that the US military used all my work. What is the other miracle here is that Tom McGuire and we were first loves. He was engaged to somebody else. I had a different boyfriend. The last time I saw him in Ithaca was right before here, but we were still in the Ithaca area at this time together. So we were there together. Tom finds me here, right around his birthday, October the 7th, 2002. He's on the Leyte Gulf. He's captain on the Leyte Gulf. He has been controller at the Pentagon. Okay, he later went on and became commander over the Washington Naval Shipyard. I mean, he's the one that got a lot of the stuff from me. Here we go. So he finds me when Jupiter's in Leo. At that point, I begin to tell him things. This is a miracle. Please listen. He tells me that he was within 250 miles of me in Germany when I was there only when Jupiter was in Leo, and he was there for 2 years as an attaché in Brussels. All right? This is a pattern. This is miraculous. We're looking at this. Then a month later, his good friend, John, and we went to the senior prom together. We lived in, by the way, this was a puddle where we went to school. It was an itty bitty little puddle. It wasn't even a lake. The graduating class had 104 in it. I was in a different graduating class. So here, John last sees him here. So we're all last together in the same area when Jupiter is in Leo. John finds him in Jupiter and Leo in 2002, and when he finds him in November of 2002, when he finds Tom, he tells Tom that he was in, I want to say Brussels. I don't think it was Brussels, but he was within 250 miles. We were all within 250 miles of each other in 1990, 1991. I was there for 1 year. Tom was there in the area for 2 years, and John was in the area for 3 years. And we all catch up together again and find out about this in 2002. Folks, that's a miracle. You've just witnessed 2 miracles. You've witnessed more miracles than that. You've just seen the thing about the Guadalupe. Here, this is when I first brought the first information the New Brunswick Law Society got, January 24th, 2001. My witness of the invalidation of the language arts assessment in New Brunswick was in 2002, same January the 24th. Here you can see in terms of what we call, acts of contrition. Acts of contradiction. They go after me with evil sorcery. Obeing is what's been used against me in order to hold my cases down. And obeing is out of Africa, Nigeria. It goes into Jamaica. And as soon as I saw that Meghan Markle had spent time in both Mexico and Jamaica and in poor areas. I knew that they were involved in the Lion of Judah Black National Movement, as well as Obi was involved in this. So I have been buried. My work has been buried. This is that notice came out there. I've gotten 2 notices for Obiing. There it is again, a different date. I've gotten so many acts of Obiing. This is the worst form of black magic you can be involved in. And of course, up here is where we have, I should say, Nostradamus. Every time you see those black stars, all right, this is wicked, this is evil, this is Solomon, this is Obiing, and the British are using it. This is where the red dragon comes in, as well as Barack Obama and his group. And they use it in all lines of communication as well. So if we wonder why the system is not waking up, folks, there's a reason why you're not waking up. So I'm here to wake you up. Wake up. By the way, this is the sheriff program. Look at this. That company, when did it turn itself into Raytheon? Right after Sputnik. And basically that's right after the Queen, probably as a reaction, took on the Red Dragon for that as well. So they turned it over. It used to be called something else, and then they changed it in the late 1950s to Raytheon. That is absolutely evil. Oh, here we go. 1959. Reincorporated, 1959. You cannot turn you into something wicked. But they saw it as the ray of God. No, this is ray of the God, and the God is the destroyer, and the destroyer is Apollo. And here's the weapon we came up with. On the other hand, practically ready to be shipped to Iraq is a ray gun based on the use of radioactive pulses of millimetric waves causing a sensation of unbearable stinging pain on the skin. The microwave radiation penetrates the skin by only several millimeters, but it gives the effect of liquid boiling and a powerful impact on the nerve pain receptors. And this is exactly the type of weapon that was discussed in Revelations. Folks, you may not set yourself up for Revelations. I'm not even touching. I'm looking at such a small part. When they sent me Meghan Markle's father, a man claiming to be Meghan Markle's father, on August the 21st, 2017, the first day I began to protest it. This is online already. And I'm going to send the clergy copies of these. Within 4 days, the whole area got hit. Our whole area got hit. From the time he first contacted me to the last day he contacted me, during that period of time, we got hit with 3 category 4-5 hurricanes. Just like Christchurch got hit with those things, you got hit with this. This is not an accident. They've never experienced anything like this. And it only happened within that time frame that Miles Markle came and told me about Meghan Markle and harassed me. And I brought the information to the police. I brought it to the FBI. Nobody will do anything. This is where you can see this is already online. This is Thomas McGuire. The government actually goes and uses all my information to set up the date of when they are going to attack Iraq. You can go through and see this. You can see, and they set up the assassination of the premier of Serbia, because I had said that there's a correlation between upheaval in Yugoslavia and us going into a war. I mean, it's horrible what we're seeing. And Tom sends all this in. I already have this online. All right, so all this stuff is already there. Here's my stuff to Robert Jackson talking about how the poles are going to shift. We have to straighten out our musica. We are to have the Union of North America. I explain. I have all of this in it. This is all in 2003. Folks, you have caused this problem. I'm talking to the clergy. I'm talking to the academics. You are the reason behind this problem. If your Genesis and if what you define women as, and that Hadam must be male and female, and there is no fall, because you have done it completely upside down in order to fit into Rome and Greece, in order to have breeding women, because that's what Rome wanted, in order to have women that were put down, because that's what society wanted. It has nothing to do with God. It has nothing to do with Jesus. It has to do with gross misogyny and Satan. And because you do not change that paradigm, you deliberately lie. And some of you even have the truth sitting in your notes in the bottom of the book. Because you do not verbally go out and change it, you are sitting at the brink of extinction. You are the problem. This negative energy, and I'm going to call it G4S or the United States, they ruin all my phones. They go in and they take over all of my phones. Let's see if we can find it. All right. They stopped me from being able to be a from being an insurance agent. They hacked into the phones then. They hack into the phones, table war zone. They let me know that they're on my computer. They can view me what's there. Christy, I had just bought this phone. My family will tell you I was in upstate New York. This is in the end of June 2012. They had already sent me threats via my email when I opened up a case against G4S at the First District Court of Appeal. I mean, when I went up against the first FCHR because it denied me rights, and that meant I was going before them to the FCHR and to the court. My cousin never wrote this. I just got this phone. I just gotten this phone. I didn't even know how to text message. I was visiting my parents. My mother used to say, "Who loves you?" It came from my cousin's phone in Lake Worth. She was in Florida, never sent the text, and my mother never sent it from Christy. And it happened in June. If you get it closer, it happens in June of 2012. And you can open that up and see it better. Let's scroll down. This is where I actually bought the phone. I bought it on the 22nd. I'm in Ithaca, New York. I mean, I'm in Lodi. That's where I am. This is when it happens. I don't know if I can make that bigger. I'm sure you can. And I'm sure, and I still have the phone. So you can see it's 6/20 something 2012, and I still have the phone. On a day that I bought a new phone so that I could go into insurance because the state has ruined my ability to be a teacher. Although I still have my license because they can't take it away from me. I haven't done anything illegal. Here is the day I rented. I mean, it was shipped December the 8th. In fact, the day I first went in to order it, I got a text message that said phone wreck. So here's December the 8th. And my new phone is being shipped to me. On the 9th, I get a telephone that says telephone wreck. I get an email that says, did you get the email? And this was December the 16th, 2015. Right, there we go. And there we go. Another one. Birkenstock telephone wreck, December the 16th, 2016. This is already online. Miles Markle shows up the first day. I am protesting. First, I'm at the school district protesting and trying to protect people that they shouldn't go to the inspector general, that terrible things can happen to you. If you do that, you can lose your life. You're blackballed, you're harassed, you're cyberstalked, and nobody will investigate it. And they're all falling under the Espionage Act. It's absolutely wicked. Nobody should go. Miles Markle, this is already online. You can hear how this man harassed me for 6 weeks. It was terrible. This is all real, folks. They send you out. The whole Meghan Markle thing is all a scam, but I already have that on. All right. I'm going to have to finish this part up right here. I'm going to show you, oops. Here's the red dragon. This is the British, this is the bishop. When the red dragon comes in, they bring the snakes, and the snakes slither around and spy. All right. This is time stamped. They think this is what they're getting. This actually goes back to King Henry VIII. This is what they think are the original Tudors, the hunting dog. But the other is recent. We actually have a lot that's here. I just don't have time to look at it. Let's see which one this is. Oh, here we go, the red dragon. This is time stamped because the bishop is allowing the woman to serve wine. She's reading the holy book in church. This is modern, and that's the red dragon that's sitting down here. So we're going to continue this later on. Thank you.